channel. Today I'm going to do something different. October was a terrible month for me for reading. I want to do a book unhaul, I want to do a book haul, and I want to do my September-October wrap up because, like I said, October wasn't the best month. I told myself I wasn't going to do a November TBR, but I still should do a November TBR just to keep on top of. I will do my November hopefuls and I'll see how far I get if I don't finish my TBR. First, I wanted to do my book unhaul and kind of tell you the reason. So the reasons behind most of these books is, one, I haven't heard of them. Two, they're probably good and there are probably good authors in here. Or three, I'm just gonna come to terms that I'm not interested in them and I probably won't pick them up anytime soon and read them. So I did this massive book and haul. I went through my books and yeah. So this book, actually, I have no idea what this book is about. This book, I'm sure this is probably a good book, but I don't have the stomach for this kind of book. So this is by Camilla Lackberg, The Girl in the Woods. It says, keep your children close, there's a killer on the loose. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't want to read this for many reasons. One, I have a 2-year-old, and two, I just don't think I could stomach a book like this. And this is like 600 pages. So I'm just not going to read it. I'm sure it's good. Probably some people read it, liked it. Next one is a book that I got for free, which I was super excited about at first. But it's a small print and the small version. And this is a book on my TBR list, but I'm going to get the other version. I know, I'm weird. I get it. But look at the print. It's just way, way too small. Like, I wouldn't pick up this book because I don't like books this size. This is Emily Henry. Beach read. As excited as I was to find this book for free. I'm not a fan of the cover. I'm going to get the other beach read cover, which I believe is like, I can't remember what color it is, but I'm going to get the other one, and I'm just going to unhaul that. 7 Lies by Elizabeth K. A dark gripping story. Highly recommended. It says, 7 Lies is a relentless, chilling story of what happens when friendship becomes obsession. Keep the lights on. You'll be turning pages deep into the night with this one. It sounds good. Actually, let's kind of see. This came out in 2020. You know what? I might actually just keep this one. I think I'm going to set that one aside because I'm going to keep that one. This is historical fiction. I'm not a historical fiction person. I'm not interested. I got this book for free, but I'm not going to read it. By Kate Quinn, The Rose Code. Not going to read it. I'm just going to unhaul that book. This one is called Friend Request. It says, utterly riveting. I will never look at social media the same way again. No, just no. I'm not even going to. Oh. Friends of Other Liars. You know what? I might keep this book actually. I love thrillers. I love everything about thrillers, but not interested in reading this one. The Stranger Inside. You put your key in the lock, the door won't open, the house should be empty, but someone else is here. By Laura Benedict. I'm sure this is a good thriller book. Never heard of it. Not interested. Let's just... The Invited. Entertaining, powerful. Jennifer McMahon. A ghost story with a twist. The New York Times best-selling author of Winter People return to the woods of Vermont to tell the story of a husband and wife who don't move into a haunted house. They build one. Just, I don't know, no. Again, these, I don't really like how small these books are. Maybe it's another reason why I'm kind of gonna unhaul these books. Again, a thriller book. The open house. Your home is for sale. 13 people go inside. Only 12 leave. Another thriller book. Not interested. The Girl Who Lied. Just. Before I go to sleep, I've heard good things about this book, but I'm just probably not going to read it. I'm just going to be honest. Like, just no. An Echo Through the Snow. I bought this in winter to have a winter book to read, but I really don't think I'm going to read this one. So I'll unhaul that book. This is 3 holiday romances. Like I said, I'm not a romance person, whether it's a holiday romance, a regular romance. I'm rom-com. So I only bought this because it said John Green on it, and I do like his other book, and I have his other books to read, but not interested, not going to read it. Another book I've heard of, which is probably good, not interested in though, The Clockmaker's Daughter. This book is set in 1862. Not really a fan of book sets. A long time ago, I guess. I don't know, it's just not my thing. Pretty Little Wife. There's more than one way to end a marriage. I don't know, no. I can't explain that one. Mistress. Death by Suicide, or Is This the Perfect Murder? I'm not interested in these kind of books for a few reasons, personal reasons. Not a fan, not gonna go there. Orange is the New Black. Never watched a TV series. Probably not gonna read the book. I'm gonna unhaul that. Safe Haven, Nicholas Sparks. I bought this last year, I believe, I think. Again, romance, not really into it. A horror called Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick. Again, forgot about I even had this book, not interested. Gonna unhaul that book. Mother Next Door, not gonna read it. This is a psychological thriller, but I do have a few of them I need to get through, and I'm just going to unhaul this book. The Girlfriend. Just Something in the Water. I heard good things about this book, but again, I don't like how small it is. So, that's got to go. Whoops! Another thriller called The Perfect Family. Not really into what it's about. Not going to read it. This was on my TBR for a while, and then I just decided not to read it. I found it at the thrift store, but I decided to say no-go. Normal People by Sally Rooney. I'm not going to read that. Next up, I did the unhaul. And I only decided to keep the 2 books, which is not bad. Let's do my September-October wrap-up. I read in total, I believe, I read 3 books, September, October. 1 book, I'm almost done, and I'm going to finish it anyway, so I'm just going to wrap it up and kind of tell you what I think about this book, and I can't wait to finish it. I hope to finish it today, but I don't know, we'll see. This one, like I said, I'm halfway through. Finally, The Witches of Moonshine Manor, a novel by Bianca Marias. I hope I said that right. Why we're taught to fear witches and not the men who burned them. So this book has, which obviously this book is about the Witches of Moonshine Manor. So there's a bunch of witches. I'll kind of give you the... So my number one, what I love about this book is the first page, Witches in Sisterhood. It talks about there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 witches, and it kind of describes each witch so you get the idea of what they look like. And yeah, it's actually really helpful, I find. So there's Ursula. She's a clairvoyant witch, heavy-set, bright blue eyes, gray-white pixie cut hairstyle, timid, second guesses herself, keeps secrets. Jezebel, the seductress witch, long black hair, heavy lidded brown eyes, beautiful caretaker, vicious temper, keeps a roster of lovers. So she's like kind of the witch that jumps from a, like, I guess you want to say jumps from like one guy to the other. It's kind of funny. It's an interesting personality for her. Ivy, the tall gray hair and her she has like gray hair and like in a bun, green eyes, wire rimmed spectacles covered in tattoos. She's the official owner of the manor and keeps track of everyone. So this is like, I don't know, I want to say like maybe the mom of the group, even though they kind of had more of a leader that passed away. Tabitha, she has the Reston witch face, full afro, wears shoulder pads, resentful, has a familiar called Widget, and keeps a list of slights. Queenie, the inventor witch in charge, she's impatient and she keeps a lot in her pocket. Ruby is the witch that is missing. She's larger than life, colorful, and she has kept away. So those are the witches. Pretty much this book so far where I am goes through. So the Witches of Moonshine Manor is like a distillery where the locals come and get local brewed alcohol and stuff like that. And I haven't pinpointed it yet, but the locals want to come, and they come to like burn the witches at the stake, take their house. They want to like get rid of the house. They want to like get the witches, kind of thing, which is really neat. Like this is like kind of I don't know how to explain, like an old-fashioned kind of book, which I haven't read in a while, which I kind of like. So this is like Be Gone with the Wishes. It makes you, so the author makes you feel sympathetic for most of the witches in this book, because they're just living in their manor, and all of a sudden the townspeople want to come and burn down their house. The mayor, I think it's the mayor's daughter wants to help the witches keep the Moonshine Manor. So she comes to talk to them, and she becomes friends with them. And this goes back in time before, I guess, kind of what happened. The chapters that I'm on right now is called 3 years ago the morning, or 33 years ago the morning of the heist. So it kind of goes back in time, which I think is really neat. You get to see that. And then also, the author has, which I think is really neat, she talks about recipes and stuff in the book, but she also writes out the recipes in most of the chapters. I believe she started to do it like maybe 21. You see kind of your first recipe, which I think is really neat. I'll kind of just read the synopsis so you can see. 5 witches gather as an angry mob threatens to demolish Moonshine Manor. All eyes turn to the witch in charge, Queenie, who confesses they've fallen far behind on their mortgage payments. Still, there's hope, since the return of Ruby, one of the sisterhood who's been gone for 33 years, will be their salvation. But the mob is only the start of their troubles. One man is bent on avenging his family for the theft of a legacy he claims was rightfully his. In an act of desperation, Queenie makes a bargain with an evil far more powerful than anything they've ever faced. Then things take a turn for the worse when Ruby's homecoming reveals an obstacle instead of solution to all their problems. The witches are determined to save their home and themselves, but their agent powers are no match for increasingly miraculous threats. Thankfully, they get a bit of help from Persephone, a feisty TikToker eager to smash the patriarchy. As the deadline to save the matter approaches, fractures among the sisterhood are revealed. Long-held secrets are exposed, culminating in a fiery confrontation with their enemies. I'm on chapter 39. We just met that evil, what do they call it? An evil... Queenie makes a bargain with an evil far more powerful than anything they've ever faced. So, it was like, Persephone, I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but she kind of explains it as like a raspy, dark voice that she heard because she went down to the basement to find Queenie, and then she heard her talking to someone, and she said the voice was like raspy and whatever. But definitely a good book. Definitely read it. I hope to finish it tonight. So that's that book. Okay, I started to read, so I read Fable by Adrienne Young and Namesake by Adrienne Young in September. So this was on my September TBR, and I didn't realize I would like it so much. As soon as I finished the book, I had to get the second book. So I read both books. It's kind of neat how they go together. So these books kind of give me a Peter Pan vibe to them. If you're a Peter Pan fan, sense like of adventure. That's kind of what these books give me. So her name is Fable, and she's the daughter of the most powerful trader in the Narrows. The sea is the only home she has ever known. It's been 4 years since the night she watched her mother drown during an unforgiven storm. The next day, her father abandons her on a legendary island filled with thieves and little food. So, to survive, she must learn how to get food, how to trade, just stuff like that, and she pretty much grows up learning how to fend for herself. I really, really liked how this book ended, because when I read this book, I was really angry with a few of the characters in this book, and I don't want to give it away, but I was angry with a few of the characters in this book, and then it kind of took a turn in this book where I'm like, oh, those characters actually aren't all that bad. They're actually want to help Fable, if that makes any sense. You thought they were against her. Even Fable felt like these certain characters were against her, and in the end you found out they weren't. They've been trying to protect her this whole time. At the end of this book, she gets kidnapped, and she meets a family member she didn't know was still around. She meets her grandmother, who is her mother's mom, and her grandmother and her dad don't get along. Her grandma, in this book, her grandmother wants her to be in charge of one of the ships. They make a deal. Fable has the, I don't know, I want to call it, Fable's really brave. She really wants to save her friends. She's got a bunch of her friends to this big pickle, conundrum, whatever you want to call it, this big mess, and she wants to get her friends out of it. So she makes a deal with her grandmother to try and get her friends out of this mess, and finds out that her grandmother wants her to be in charge of one of the ships. And in the end, some of the characters that you thought were actually on Fable's side were not, and then they get taken down in the end of the book. Which again, I think is really, really neat. Like I said, I don't want to give anything away, But these two books give me hardcore Peter Pan vibes, and I love it. It's like, it's all mostly about the characters. It's on sea, rough waters, how to survive on rough waters. They look for treasure. They have, now I don't remember each, there's about 4 or 5 different names for crew members and what they do on the crew. But Fable is a diver, so she like dives in the water for treasures and stuff like that to sell at different towns and stuff. Or I guess, I don't know if you want to call it towns, but more like islands. So there's like a whole world of islands, but a lot of being on sea. So this says, welcome to a world made dangerous by the sea and by those who wish to profit from it. A young girl must find her place and her family while trying to survive in a world built for men. Yeah, I don't really want to give much away, but that's pretty much the gist of these two books, if that makes any sense. If you're into Peter Pan, if you like books about the sea, rough waters, very adventurous books. Like, some of the things that they did in this book had me on edge. Like, if I imagined someone jumping off, like, a ship in, like, crazy stormy waves, and they would, like, the author would, like, describe, like, how they felt when they jumped off into the water to look for certain treasures and stuff to sell. I mean, I literally got, like, chills from it because I'm like, I could never do that. I don't really like to dive in the water anyways. I'll swim on top of the water, but I'm not one to go in the water. And the fact that Fable would go in the water in rough weather and rough waves, and sometimes she almost didn't get out. It was kind of, these books are adventurous. They kept me on my seat, edge of my seat. I love these books. It took me a few chapters to get into the book, just because, again, young adult novels and fantasy books, I find it's been a while since I read fantasy books, so to get into the world took me about maybe 7 or 8 chapters, I want to say. But if you're a regular fantasy reader, you could probably like get into the book faster than what I did. But that would be my reason why I didn't get into the books right away. Okay, now for my miniature book haul, I got... Okay, so this was like 2 separate days. No, this wasn't. This was the same day. But I'm very proud of myself. I did that book unhaul. So here is my kind of miniature book haul. So last year I read a book called The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox, and I really liked it, even though, like I said, I'm not a romance reader, period. But I had to read The Holiday Swap last year because I had heard so many good reviews about it. And this year I have 3 holiday books that I want to read. And Maggie Knox actually came out with another holiday book called All I Want for Christmas by Maggie Knox. I read The Holiday Swap last year, like I said, it was really good. And then I've wanted these books for a while. This is by a local author. And I saw them not only on sale, the hardcovers were on sale, so 2 of the hardcovers were on sale. This series is complete. Like I said, I like complete series. And they're signed by the author, so why not? These are middle school novels. They're used in schools lots, which I think is really neat. So the first one is called The Barren Grounds by David A. Robertson. This is book 1 of the Mississauga series. I can't see it on there. That's okay, but this is book 1 and it's signed by the author, so you know I had to jump on that. I just saw it right there. So this is book 1. Book 2 is called The Great Bear. And again, it is signed by the author, so that's why I wanted it. And it's also 20%, 10% off? It's on sale, so it's regular $21.99. It was on sale, I believe, for like $17.99, something like that. And then same with this one, The Stone Child, David A. Robertson, and it's signed by the author. So these are the books you read in order. So book 1 is The Barren Grounds, book 2, The Great Bear, and then book 3 is The Stone Child. I won't really go into what these books are about, but they're really good novels for middle schooler grades, middle school, pretty much middle school. They're really good novels for middle school. I'm super excited to read these because I know a lot of teachers do read these in their class as novel studies. So I'm really excited to read these, hopefully soon before the new year, and then go from there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and you can tell me if you read any of these books or if you want to read any of these books, and also recommend some great books down below.